Hello, my beautiful people. How are you? My name is Nadia, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing and talking about the stages of spiritual awakening. All right, so let's get into it. The stages of spiritual awakening. Now, when I first started going through a spiritual awakening, this had to be about 6 to 8 months ago. At least that's when I noticed it. I would search and look for information all over the place. I ran across information that there are 10 stages of spiritual awakening. I've seen something that says there's 7 stages of spiritual awakening. I've even run across information saying 25 stages of spiritual awakening. And one thing that we know for sure is that there's many people that have been through this before us, and that's where we get most of our information from. We're learning from them. But the thing is, our experiences are all very different a lot of the time. So because of that, I think we shouldn't focus so much on stages and phases. We shouldn't focus so much on it. When you focus on these stages and these phases that you read about all the time, or at least when you focus on it too much, this causes you to have expectations. And when you have expectations about how this awakening is going to go, that kind of causes you to miss out on what's actually happening because you're looking for something specific to happen. So you actually are missing out on what's actually happening at the time. So I think that it definitely feels good to read information and to find information that is on point with what you're going through. It feels good to find that, and it's great to find that. But one thing we have to remember is that we should always take what resonates with us and trust our intuition, because most of the answers that we are looking for, those answers are within us. Now, I found 4 stages that resonate with me. Now, right now, I am going through an awakening, just like many of you out there. So, since I'm going through a spiritual awakening at this time, the only thing that I can do is share what I've experienced, what I've gone through already, what I'm going through right now, and what my intuition is leading me to believe that I will go through in the future. Though I don't try to focus on what the future will be, I'm more focused on what I'm doing today, but I'm trying my best now to trust my intuition because it hasn't seemed to steer me wrong yet. Okay, so the first stage is the awakening stage. Now, in this stage, this is where you'll start to realize there's a much bigger meaning for your life. There's so much more to life than you thought. You start to notice things that you never even realized before. You start to realize that there's no coincidences, and a lot of the things that have happened in your life, these things have happened for a reason. There's a reason behind all of it. Now, in this stage is where you may go through all of the phases that they talk about, the hermit phase, the limbo phase, all of these phases that we've read about. Now, what I've learned is that when you start to retreat and when you start to hide out and hibernate, and you start to lose interest in a lot of the people, places, and things that you used to do, this is due to your psychic senses being heightened. That's the reason why you've become so sensitive to all these places, these people, these things that you used to do. All of that changes because you are starting to become in tune. Your psychic senses have grown, and now you realize that a lot of these things are not for you. You don't feel comfortable with them anymore. Sometimes I still feel like I'm going through this stage because it just seems like I'm awakening every day. It's like every day, it's almost like either I'm learning and remembering something from my past or I'm learning something new. It's like I'm looking at the world with a whole new set of eyes. That's what it feels like to me. So sometimes it feels like I'm in this stage, but I know I've gone through it and I moved on to the next stage, which is the healing stage. The second stage, the healing stage. So in this stage, there's a lot of healing going on in your body. There's energy running through your body, running through the chakras, clearing blockages from childhood issues, old issues and trauma, past life issues. That's what's going on at this time, this healing stage. Now, what's interesting is the heightening of your psychic gifts is what actually helps you to heal, because this helps you to tap into those childhood issues. You start to remember stuff. It helps you to tap into past life issues. So this is something that happens due to the heightening of your psychic gifts. It helps you to move forward with healing. Now, in this stage, your emotions will probably be all over the place. I definitely went through that, and I'm so glad that I'm already over that. But at the same time, I still feel like I have some healing to do. I still feel like I need to heal in a lot of ways. I don't know if it's past life or whether it's just childhood. Growing up without a mom. My mom passing when I was 2. I don't know if I need a lot of healing from that, but I do feel, my intuition tells me that I do have some really deep healing to do. This is why I'd like to go on an ayahuasca retreat or visit a shaman or something like that, because I do feel like there are some deep issues that come from way back that I really need to heal up from. And that might be something that a lot of us need to do. But that's the second stage. It's a lot of healing going on in this stage. The third stage, finding your purpose. This is where you start searching and finding your purpose. Now, in this stage, you'll probably feel excited a lot of the time, inspired sometimes. You may feel creative, and you'll probably be doing something new, something that you haven't done in the past. In this stage, this is where you start to try your best to live life in a way that is true to you, and that is all about your purpose. Now, in this stage, you'll probably still have moments of doubt, moments where you feel your self-esteem isn't so high, but you do feel like you're being guided. So you're still following that guidance. You feel like you're being guided. But this is the phase where I think I am in right now, where I still doubt myself. I still question what I'm doing. I still am not sure at times. But most of the time, I feel excited. I feel inspired. I feel like being creative. This happened to me, and this is when I started making my videos, making an intro for the videos, doing the chakra videos with the colors and wearing the color of the chakra. I just felt like being creative. And that's how I know I've moved into that stage 3. But I still feel like, because of the fact that I got some healing to do, it's like I feel like I'm halfway through the second stage of healing, and then I'm also in the stage of finding purpose. Stage 4, divinity, your divinity. That is stage 4. I haven't gotten there yet, but I plan to. Now, in this stage, you are totally true to who you are. You are totally true to yourself. Your thought patterns, your negative thought patterns are gone. You find a new level of freedom. You've cleared out a lot of the old issues, the pain and trauma from your past. You're not being held back by self-doubt anymore. And your psychic senses have become stronger and on point. They become more on point. I haven't gotten there, so I can only share what I've read about this stage. But I plan to get there, and I hope the rest of you get there. The only thing that I can say at the end of all of this is that the best thing for us to not do is to have expectations about things. And one of the reasons why is because I have one of my old videos, I think it's the 3rd video I made. It was called Spiritual Awakening Stages, just like this video. And I was talking about the stage that I was in at that time. In that video, I shared an experience. I went to see a chakra balancing or an energy healer. I went to visit this lady. Her name was Stormy Lake. I talked about my experience in that video, but one of the things that she said to me, she said, I feel like you're very open at your crown, around your eyes and your ears. She said, do you see faces or hear voices? And I was just like, no, and I wondered, what if that happens? What if I start to see faces or hear voices? And because of my expectations, what I probably expected to happen was me just sitting randomly in the house, relaxing, and then a face, like a ghost in a movie, just came zooming by or something, like watching too much movies. So that is what I thought or expected the experience to be like. Now, she was clearly right, because I have seen faces and heard voices since then. So she was able to see that I was going to experience that, or I had the ability, or really open around the ears, the eyes, the crown, or my connection to the spirit world. She felt like I was totally connected and totally open. So there was something she saw, and it's amazing because it actually happened. When I saw her, I didn't experience seeing my dad's face or hearing the voices or the visions or any of that stuff yet. But my expectations for what it was going to be like was totally different. So that's why I just realized that it happened. Because now it actually has happened. But it didn't happen in the way that I was thinking in my head, or my expectations was allowing me to think that it was happening. It happened when I'm in a totally meditative state. And this is something that I have been researching and looking for information on, where what is happening to me and what I've been able to do is I have been able to wake up during a level of sleep, during a level of meditation. So it's when I'm at a certain level of sleep, I'm able to wake up. So my mind is awake. I'm awake and I'm aware, but my body is sleeping. It's when I get in this stage that I am able to access other realms, the spirit realm, the celestial realm. There's different realms, but that is what I've now learned, that in that state, in that totally meditative, relaxed state, I have been able to wake up. And when I'm awake is when I experience the buzzing in my body, the visions, the voices. This happens because I have actually been able to access the spirit realm through a certain level of sleep that I'm actually awake for. So I'm learning that and I'm understanding that now. But it was definitely not what I expected to experience when she asked me if I saw faces or heard voices. So that's why I'm saying, don't have expectations about it. It'll cause you to miss out on some of the things that are actually really happening. But like I said, this whole awakening process, now I am looking at life with a different set of eyes. And that's what happens. Now, I'm not the only one who's experienced these out-of-body experiences and stuff like that. I'm not the only one out there. Some of you out there, might not have experienced it yet, but you will. Some of you will. Because this, I feel, is almost like proof to us that there's a world out there that we can't see. And this is very hard to explain to some people, because there's a world that we are not able to see with these two eyes that actually exist. And once you go through an awakening, you start to now just be like, oh my God, it's real. I remember I used to say, oh, my dad is watching over me. My mom is watching over me. I used to say that, but I believed it, but I didn't know it. There's a difference in believing it and actually experiencing, connecting to that world and to those spirits. So it's been a very mind-blowing experience, and I wish the best for all of you on your journey. I want to thank all of you for subscribing to my channel and joining me on this journey, okay? Because I know that there's a lot to come. I think I've experienced something. I know I haven't experienced everything that I am supposed to experience, but I feel like it's going to happen for a lot of us. It's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. Sometimes we need things to happen a certain way, at a certain level, and I feel like this awakening, whether it is the Kundalini energy, whatever you want to call it, is very wise, and it's helping us to experience it at the level that we need to. We get what we can understand. We get what we can deal with. So if you're going through like a whole lot of stuff that you feel like is so hard to deal with, when it comes to this awakening, you're going through that because you can actually handle that. That is something that is meant for you. There's something that you need to learn from that. So just keep that in mind. So once again, I want to thank you all for joining me on this journey. Please feel free to comment and share some of your experiences with me. And I'll see you next time. Peace and blessings.